apologize right now, Natalie. You wanna meet with crazy? I'm crazier. And that's why you are alone when no man can deal with it.
Finish her!
Awesome! 90 Day The Last Resort is back with season 2. And this time, the couples are staying at a resort in Arizona. It's the same concept as season 1. The couples have 3 weeks to save their relationships that we don't think should be saved. And then they do that recommitment ceremony at the very end, blah blah blah. The only real difference this season, besides the location, is that they dropped that weird White Lotus intro song. That. It was catchy. So who are the couples this season? Well, all of them are familiar faces. Gino and Jasmine, Rob and Sophie, Stacy and Florian, Brandon and Julia, Ariella, who initially arrived by herself, and my personal least favorite, Natalie and Josh. Even though they have been technically dating off and on for 3 years, big surprise, they still have no title for their relationship. They are not officially a couple, still. So why are they here exactly? No one knows. And as I watch them, I'm having a hard time believing that they're actually really together at all. Josh tries to say that they reconnected after his son was in a serious car accident. I guess Natalie was supportive during that time and they got back together. Supposedly.
Are you first-time guest at the resort?
I'm not. I've been here before, actually.
Beautiful.
I say supposedly because Josh seems outwardly more annoyed by Natalie, much more obviously this time around.
I'm a great breed, a rare breed.
And I think he's just back to be on TV and promote something. Because I can't believe that they're really together since Natalie still has not been invited to Josh's house.
Which direction would be your house? There's like so mysterious.
It's just instantly hard to buy the premise of this show again when Natalie and Josh are here. They are not married. They're not even technically boyfriend and girlfriend. They've never actually been a real couple. But yet again, on season 2, The Last Resort wants us to take this seriously. The show brings on therapists. It's supposed to be about therapy, fixing relationships. And it's not just Natalie and Josh that don't make this believable. They also have things like happy hour with alcohol before group therapy. I actually rage quit the first season of The Last Resort when the guys all went to the strip club. If they want us to believe that the show is really about recommitting couples, fixing these broken relationships, why add large amounts of alcohol and help drive cast members to a strip club? It makes no sense. They need to pick a lane. Anyways, this first happy hour is when all of the couples come together for the first time. Most of the cast members have met or have interacted on social media, and some even have some beef, like Julia and Natalie.
You use mine for a green card.
Yeah?
Okay.
But when Josh and Natalie arrive to the bar, Julia decides she's going to try to make peace. But instead of just making peace, Julia just reminds us all of how horrible Natalie really is.
Честно, давай начнем.
Беременна или нет?
Нет.
Как поправилась?
I don't know how Julia kept her cool during that interaction and still hugged her after that. Crazy. That hug is almost as awkward as Binyam and Ariella's hug.
What is this? What is this?
So when the therapy starts, we get the rundown of everyone's issues. Brandon and Julia can't agree on starting a family or not. Jasmine and Gino haven't been intimate in 8 months. And this is like the 3rd show of us having to hear about that again. Rob and Sophie can't get along and keep arguing about the past. Stacy thinks Florian is cheating. Ariella also thinks Binyam is cheating. But she actually seems to have some real proof and locked Binyam out of all of his social media accounts. And then there's Natalie and Josh. Their problems don't come anywhere close to as serious as the other couples. Even when the cast does their first activity, where they do this hike, they have to write on a rock an issue that they want to work on, and then they're supposed to carry the rocks and let them go if they agree to work on the issue. The other couples write down big things, like lack of affection for Ariella and Binyam, which leads to a super awkward piggyback scene. Or couples like Stacy and Florian, who wrote down trust, which makes Stacy ridiculously fake cry.
You wanna take it off of me.
Okay.
I wanna be free.
What the hell's wrong?
Yeah, seriously, what's wrong with you? But Natalie wrote on a rock the word access. The word access means she just wants more access to Josh's life, which is again code for wanting to get invited to Josh's house.
Could it be possible we visit your house and just You make a tour for me. I don't even have to stay there or anything. I just walk in and I see where you live.
And Josh just looks so annoyed with her all of the time. But as I watch more and more of The Last Resort, I also remember why Josh doesn't want Natalie at his house.
He doesn't want me to investigate his house. And I do want to investigate his house.
That's terrifying. But Josh does agree that if they make it through The Last Resort, he will take her to his house. But I think what he meant by that was he'll take her to his house if they do the recommitment ceremony at the end and recommit. While they're heading back from the hike, Natalie randomly decides to have an opinion about Rob and Sophie's relationship.
I feel like you love her more than she loves you.
At first, it seems like she knows about Josh DMing Sophie on social media.
I'm going to Vegas. You should come with me on my flight. And I was like, oh, I can't.
What about Joseph?
Why would you come? Why would you come to Vegas?
And we find out later that no, she didn't know about him DMing Sophie and inviting her to Vegas, but she must have gotten some sort of a vibe from how Josh was acting towards Sophie, because she seems to single Sophie out.
I mean, I am. I'm here.
You came here to work on this relationship that you have.
And I swear at this point that Josh is just so embarrassed of her. So let's talk about these messages, these DMs between Josh and Sophie, because they are apparently real. They're not just made up for the show. So credit to 90 Day Fiancé Update on their Instagram. I'm going to read some of these out loud for those of you that are not able to see the screen. I'm not going to read all of it, just the parts that are hilarious. So this starts out like Sophie said. It looked like Josh fire emoji'd Sophie's story and then says, "Did you get The Last Resort? I heard you might be there. LOL." And she says, "Yes. What about you?" And he says, "Yes, coming out to my neck of the woods." He lives in Arizona. He also says, "My partner has a bit of a wild side, so we will see how this goes. I already told them that I will need my own room. No way I can stay with that girl. LOL." He's obviously talking about Natalie. So just by looking at these messages, he's definitely initiating the conversation. And I would say it's friendly at first, but then he starts commenting things like, "You look good," and then a "sheesh girl" with a fire emoji. And then at one point he says he's going on a trip to Vegas soon, and he asks if she has been. And she says no, but wants to go. It looks like fun. And then he asks what she's doing on a certain date, it looks like, and she doesn't engage. So the Vegas conversation really happened. At one point, he asks if she's still with Rob pretty directly, and she says it's complicated and asks if he's still with Natalie, and he says it's also complicated, and then says that they are not in a committed relationship. I feel like he was being very safely flirty here. And for people that think that Sophie was entertaining it, she made a comment saying that she was entertaining it. She says that Rob saw the conversation and wanted to see how far it would go. Obviously, Josh and Rob are fine after this. They have that like 90-day bad boys Instagram. And this is exactly what we've been saying, right? Josh and Natalie are not in a committed relationship.
Are you guys happy?
It's been this way on The Single Life. Josh is not interested in anything more, and Natalie wants more, and she's insecure about her relationship with him. But when she's noticing like a vibe between Josh and Sophie, instead of blaming Josh, she's taking her insecurity out on Sophie, and Sophie is not having it.
Kidding me? How old are you? 5? She's 57.
She's supposedly 39, but that's so funny. Things get even more heated when the couples go out on their day off. I could also tell that Josh doesn't seem to really want to be there. And at first I was like, okay, his son just had this accident. He actually even needs to leave for part of the filming to help his son with his recovery. So his demeanor when we see him with Natalie makes sense if he's dealing with all of that. But then when Sophie comes over to talk to him, he definitely does look much happier. And Natalie has definitely noticed this when they talk. Sophie thought it would be funny to intentionally go talk to Josh to stir things up, but then here comes Jasmine to really shake up the drama.
I think that Josh likes Sophie.
He likes Sophie.
She tries to blame Josh for it. He's supposed to be there with Natalie. But we have all known nutty Natalie long enough to know that that is not going to happen.
He was inviting Sophie to his place.
She starts yelling that she's looking for single guys because her boyfriend is going to Vegas with a new girl. Correction, Natalie. He's not your boyfriend.
What are you? You're a married woman. You're half naked, and you with my boyfriend going to Vegas because you're a hooker.
Did anyone else during this have a flashback of Natalie accusing Mike's mom of calling her a hooker?
Why your mom call me hooker?
No one called you hooker.
I mean, No one called you.
thinks I'm a hooker.
They never actually caught Mike's mom on camera saying that, but Natalie insisted that Mike's mom called her that. They were in the kitchen when that happened, so I thought maybe Mike's mom called her a cooker. That word is such a specific word. It now makes me think that Natalie made all of that up and Mike's mom did not call her that. That's what, like a 3-year-old mystery finally solved? So now Natalie wants to know if Josh really invited Sophie to Vegas. So to be completely unbiased and fair, he did ask her what she was doing on a certain date, but it didn't really go anywhere further than that.
I asked her if she went to Vegas, if she's ever been to Vegas. She said no.
Very sneaky, but he is technically telling the truth.
You need to calm down, okay?
Josh seems embarrassed. And Natalie seems more upset that Josh has never invited her to Vegas than anything else. He does admit at one point that he invited Sophie with a group he was going with and apologizes if it offended anyone. And then everything quickly seems fine between Rob, Sophie, and Josh. But once you light that fire under Natalie, she's off.
The stupid, trash, idiot, dog, go away. This? Why? I deserve a man who will respect me. I would never do this to you.
Josh is so calm during this. It must really just be a regular thing for her to pop off. You know, just another Tuesday night for him.
You need to calm down.
No, invite me to Vegas.
Absolutely not. I'm not going anywhere with you.
I could not stop laughing during this. Now I know why he didn't want to share a room with her. He needs a place to hide. But again, she doesn't just get mad at Josh. She goes back after Sophie. And Jasmine's face? Ooh, I would be scared if I was Natalie. Especially when she like runs to catch Natalie.
Don't play these games with me.
For a very long time, I've been wanting someone to just tell Natalie off really badly. She thinks so highly of herself. She insults people. I just wanted someone to call her out for real. And the person to do it is Jasmine.
You think that you're better than any other woman, you're not. You are gonna apologize right now, Natalie.
I think that Sophie's the one that deserves an apology for whacking the drink out of her hand, not Jasmine.
You wanna meet with crazy? I'm crazier.
Pastor Ben wants to remind you to subscribe to the Kiblz channel. If you don't, he will appear and read you his creepy train story.
It was a runaway train, every passenger's nightmare. The old train came off the wheels. Baby, my beautiful mahogany, the train is already going too fast to stop. Let's just dance.
Acting like the brat and bitch you are, and that's why you are alone when no man can deal with it.
Look at Gino and Josh. Is Josh holding Gino? What is happening here? If there was a real fight, Natalie is crazy, but my money's on Jasmine. I also like how Natalie's acting like that didn't affect her. It totally did. So we don't know what happens after this, but we do know now that Natalie will be alone at the resort since Josh has to temporarily leave to help his son. She didn't really have any friends before. Now she really doesn't. And in the preview for the next episode, it looks like she tries to avoid the cast and keep her distance. I can see why. I do think she will end up apologizing, even though she says she won't mean it if she does. It's too bad that they didn't just let Jasmine go and they didn't fight it out. That would have made The Last Resort my new favorite show. We will have to see how Natalie handles everyone hating her in the next episode. Thanks for watching. Bye!